core group of folks who go in there or go to our New York office, and I try to be there as much as I can.
Yeah, I think building those connections whenever you have the opportunity to be together in person is so crucial. My team has now done like 2 major kind of like offsites. We do them annually, and time and again, the feedback is like less substantive stuff because you can get that done over Zoom very easily. It's more like we want time to get to know each other and build those connections, because I think those lead to smoother communication, like better collaboration, et cetera. But, I think also as a leader, when you're trying to think about like defining your team culture, it's super important to like, again, set those expectations that you have of the team. I fully, I've made it very clear to my team. The point of me putting in place a lot of the things that I've talked about is to ensure that we're delivering consistently high quality advice. Because that can't always just come from me. Otherwise, I end up being the bottleneck, right? If every decision, every piece of guidance has to be run through me, that can't be the way it works. And I need everybody to take ownership of the work that they do, and I want them to have agency as well, but also create like an environment where they have psychological safety and they know that they can take risks, so long as they've done their homework and they've done their homework, right? So, one of the things I would say about, how to build that like high accountability, high performance culture for your team is, make sure you have the right training in place. One of the things that we did at Google and I brought to Airbnb was having a boot camp curriculum where there were certain subjects and topics that I knew time and again that the lawyers on my team need to be familiar with in order to be effective counsel. So like privacy 101 or, consumer protection law, like things that I know to be very, very relevant for a large population of my team. And I, designating 2 people on the team to kind of be the owners of that. And we rotate folks who own the curriculum and are responsible for like, getting people to teach these subjects. Also,
one thing, if I could interrupt there, just for folks, we always also have been trying to do that. I think for smaller legal teams, sometimes getting outside counsel to do that. So that's something I've been doing where we don't have necessarily the expertise in-house, but we need to be doing privacy or content regulation boot camps. So we've been, and usually your outside counsel will be happy to do those. And then you get CLE to boot. So that's another thing to think about.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I know that we've done that too. I think, one thing that's also important is I have, put in writing guidance for my team on my expectations around escalations and how to write effective executive summaries, because that's another way in which you can make sure like folks are taking ownership, that they are helping you be able to kind of function in a way where, again, you're not the bottleneck. And you're holding people accountable for making sure like they're getting you information in a timely way so that you can help them and help get decisions made. And I think the other thing is, I spend a lot of my time talking to leaders across the company to gauge what's important to them, how do they think about risk, and calibrating that. And making sure I bring that back to the team too. And I share with them, like if I've had a conversation with our CLO about something, I want to immediately make sure my team members understand how they're thinking about it, whether they think it's an important one or not. And that knowledge is something that you have to find ways of kind of passing through to the entire team in order for them to start to be able to calibrate risk properly and be attuned to what leadership will care and not care about. So we'll kind of pause there. We're seeing some questions pop up. We have a few minutes to go. Let me see.
What are some good reading or content sources that you like to stay current with legal updates you may need to consider in your business? For me, so one is outside counsel summaries. I read those pretty religiously. Whether it's corporate, whether it's on the content side, I think they're super helpful, and I do that. And then the other one, I listen to podcast. I'm a big fan. I know it's all tech bro, but the All In Pod, so I can know what's going on in Silicon Valley. And then also Eric Goldman's blog. For me, content is very key, so that's really important for me.
Yeah, those are all great resources. I mean, outside counsel are great for that too. They're constantly putting out content about new regulations, so I pay attention to kind of what they're putting out. And then we also, for some of the stuff happening outside the US, our regional teams are really good about kind of putting out digests of things that are happening. And, recently something happened to one of our competitors in EMEA, and the lawyer in EMEA kind of wrote up a summary that came in very handy with some conversations I was in. So, also leveraging your team and kind of the knowledge that they're exposed to and finding ways of passing that around. And for me to kind of like read up on that too has always been a good resource for me.